Good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas. If we haven't met before, I'm Phil, and it's my privilege to be a part of the ministry team here at Hobart City Church. Now, look, with Christmas, there always becomes a little bit of I'm just going to put it out there. Some of you might have been dragged along here this morning. I'm not going to ask for show of hands, but I'm just going to say I am really glad, particularly if this is your first time here this morning, then I'm really glad that you've chosen to make Hobart City Church a part of your Christmas celebrations. And if you're one of those people who are going, I'm just here to appease a family member or a friend, then I think we've got something in store for you. So the last few weeks on Sunday mornings here, we've been sort of looking at the question about best Christmas ever. And so I'm going to continue with that theme. And look, I've experienced about 4 or 3 Christmases in my lifetime. Some of them very memorable, some of them not so much. They kind of fade into past years. Now, my kids have adopted a tradition that I had when I was a kid, that when you wake up in the morning, you go and look in the lounge room or wherever your Christmas tree is to see what's there. Who else does that? I've got a few kids who are, we get up, we get in the morning, we go, what have we got? Now, I remember one morning, no idea how old I was, but in the middle of the lounge room was a BMX bike. There was another bike, not real picture of bike. That bike's 30 years old now. There was a bike in the middle of the lounge room. There was another bike as well. And I realised that the size of these were too big for my little brother. And by a series of default, I went, I've got a new bike. And that, at that point in time, was the best Christmas ever. Go forward a couple of years. And after, admittedly, a little bit of pestering from me, I think, maybe my brothers as well, we woke up one morning and there was a Sega Mega Drive 2. You're not very impressed, which means I think you're probably not realising that that was so cool back in the day. Now, I remember we got it out that morning, set it all up, back in the days of the TV where you had to get up and go chug, 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 chug to turn the channel. Those TVs aren't compatible with Sega Mega Drives 2. So our excitement of having a Sega Mega Drive 2 was soon fallen flat because we couldn't use it. But then, it's a happy ending of this story. Fast forward about 5 hours later, my grandfather, being a very generous man as he was, when we opened up our Christmas gift at lunch, we had an envelope. Already you're kind of thinking money. Opened up the check and saw not 1, not 2, but 3 zeros after the 1. That was in 1992, 93. So $1,000 was a pretty big deal now, particularly back then. So our whole TV thing was completely sold because Boxing Day sales, that was my first experience. And then we came home, combined purchase between me and my brothers of a new TV and our very own VCR. That's right, we were a high-tech family. That Christmas, at that point in time, for me, was the best Christmas ever. But as I get older, become maybe a little bit more mature, I'm not sure, you can be the judge of that, but my priorities have changed a little bit. You know, I don't necessarily look at what am I going to get, but Christmas, when I think about the Christmases of, great Christmases of past, have always been about family. It's always been about gathering together, and I've got a pretty substantially big family when the interstate relatives come over. And quite often what is a bit of a tradition in our family is that the cousins have all lined up in age order. I'll give you a few little seconds to work out which one's Phil. And if you're thinking red pants, you're on the money. And so that's kind of my cousins. And look, there's a couple of extras there. And as years have gone by, we've recreated that photo. And that was about 20 years ago. Not red pants anymore. I think they must have gone out of vogue. And so when I think about now about great Christmases of old, I think about those times where our families got together. We played totem tennis, We got injuries from totem tennis. We climbed plum trees. We got injuries from climbing plum trees. And we played charades, and we had games, and we had cricket, and we had all sorts of fun times. And when I can think about those times before, I think, that was some best Christmases ever. I wonder how you would describe your best Christmas ever now. It was only 10 days ago, that Naomi and I were having pretty, not heated debates, but kind of in-depth conversations to go, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know what to get you. What do you need? I don't know what I need. I don't really need anything. You don't need anything. I don't need anything. What are we going to do? And we had some pretty intense conversations and trying to work out our time because of other busyness and general things that happen in December to try and what are we going to get each other. And that kind of, I think, indicates a little bit as to how our priorities have changed. It's not about the getting. It's probably more about the giving. And I wonder what you would say if I asked you what would be your best Christmas ever. Because I know Christmas is, while maybe at my children's age, it's all fun, it's all happiness, it's all great. But if we're being honest, the Christmas time can be a little bit challenging. Because it seems to be that Christmas, it's the time that we, if anything bad is going on in our life, things might just get a little bit heightened. There's people here and people that we know that are suffering grief or loss. Kind of surviving the day because today is almost a reminder because today's the first day without that person. Or today might be a little bit challenging from a health sense where we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And the things that previously might have seemed a little bit more straightforward and obvious and now have a question mark. Or it might be a financial challenge where we see the things around us and we go, we dearly love to be able to give our child something or be able to provide something, but deep down we know that it's just a struggle to put food on the table, a roof over our head. And for those of us in that situation, Christmas might just highlight the fact that we don't have what others have. But today I want to remind us that there's a God who loves you. He knows your pain and struggles, and he wants to be in a relationship with you. In looking at what might be the best Christmas ever, I kind of thought, well, let's go back to the original first ever Christmas. See, at Christmas time, we remember Jesus' birth as a little baby to Mary and Joseph. But I want to take us back a little bit before there, because his birth was foretold centuries earlier. And reading from Isaiah 9, 6 and 7, it says, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this." I just want to take us back to the very start of that passage. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given. You see, Jesus is a gift from God. See, I think we all understand sort of the difference between a gift and something that we earned. See, if we've worked, then we would have been paid a wage. I think most of us kind of get that concept. I, every fortnight, have money put into my bank account by my employer. Why? Not as a gift, but because I've turned up to work, done a, I think, reasonable job, and they've gone, here's your wage. A gift is very different. A gift is given. A gift is not conditional. It's not, I've done something first and then I receive. The gifts for me at home underneath the Christmas table, Maybe subconsciously I think I've been a good dad, been a good husband. Maybe I've earned these. But realistically, they are a gift. They are a gift because my wife and my kids want to give me something because they love me. God has given humanity his one and only Son. There is nothing that we can do to earn his love. There is nothing that we can do to there's nothing that we can do for him to then go, oh, okay, now I'll love you. But no, he loved us first. And that's our privilege to be able to respond. Another aspect of the first Christmas ever, we read in Luke 2, and there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today, in the town of David, a Saviour has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in clothes and lying in a manger." Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly hosts appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favour rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds had said to them. What did the angels say? They said, "Do not be afraid, because I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people." Not one, not some, not most, all. Everyone. By that definition, that means you. That means also the people that we might go, really? Them? It does. God's love is for all. So it's good news that not just for the rich, not just for the popular, not for the people that kind of, do good. It's not for the people that we kind of go, well, they're kind and helpful and they're nice to us. It's even for those people that we don't really like too much. It's even for those people that we tolerate. It's even for those people that have hurt us. It's even for those people who we don't even know yet. And if you're ever wondering what God is like, well, the answer is that he's like Jesus. We can read about it in the Gospels, about the nature of Jesus, that he was all about people. All about helping people that had been forgotten about in their community. The people of lower class, of their occupation or their family heritage kind of indicated they weren't so special. Or the people who didn't have much going for them, people that were sick and injured, people who couldn't work, people of all nations, all tribes, and any description that we could put on them. And so when I think about the best Christmas ever, I can think the answer that I come up with, even though my memories might go back to decades gone past, or even maybe just a couple of years when my little kids were even littler, the best Christmas is really the first Christmas. Because in that we were reminded that God sent Jesus as a gift. Not because we did anything special, but on the opposite. That he loves us for doing nothing at all. But also, the second aspect is that it is a gift for everyone. A gift that can be received at any point in time. It can be received today. It can be received tomorrow. It can be received at any time. But all it takes is, yes, I'll receive it. Now, I don't know what your journey is that's led you to this point. As I said, you might well have been one of those people that come kicking and dragging here this morning. But I want everyone to leave here this morning knowing that God is for them, that He is a gift, that He can be received at any point in time. And all that you would need to do is say yes. And if you're here today, maybe in the church for the very first time and not too sure what that's about, then I encourage you to come back here or Sunday mornings at 10. We can delve into that further, and that might be something that you want to explore a little bit more today. Those shepherds, albeit in their culture, were sort of deemed to be a little bit dumb, because let's be honest, standing out in front of you in a hill looking after some sheep doesn't take a lot of book smarts, does it? They were smelly. They were if we think back to David and Goliath, when David was a little boy, looking after the sheep was kind of like the thing you graduated out of when you had a little brother that could take over from you. Kind of like changing the television channel when we were little kids. Maybe not all of us as little kids, but little kids who can remember that. It's something that the youngest or the least did. But they were smart because they knew that they had to go tell people. They couldn't just keep that news, that excitement to themselves. And I think I'm pretty glad that they did, because if they didn't tell people, then we wouldn't know about it today. So the challenge this Christmas as well is that we need to be like those shepherds. And this is my final point this morning, and I'm going to invite the band up as I close off. But our challenge today is that we need to go tell people about the great news of Jesus. If we are following Him, if we have said and received that gift, then Jesus' message to us is that we need to go. The shepherds travelled all places. They went into Bethlehem to find out what was going on, and then they spread around the town to let everyone know. This morning we can go and tell people. And I invite you to stand and sing our final song this morning.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
I want to thank you for being here this morning. I hope you have a merry and blessed Christmas. Remember that the gift of Jesus is given to you. It's given to everyone, and it's always available. And if you've received it, then I encourage you to go tell it on the mountain.